Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In today's video we are on a beginner's guide for the Pyromancer in Soulstone Survivors. We are running multicast mastery, sure-footed and weapon expert. We are going to run these runes on every single character with the beginner guides. We are looking at a skill tree now that is pretty much nearly maxed. We aren't going to be doing those skills though, and as you can see we do have the 5 rune power. What we are looking at is using the Pyromancer second staff, so it does have to be prestige 10 plus because we do want the combustion and the flamethrower as opposed to fire slash and fire walk. So let's get straight into it. Just like yesterday with the paladin build, today's build we are going to have to look and focus on the chaos golem, and the reason for that is because the chaos golem is just so good at keeping away the attention of the bosses. The bosses become very difficult to beat, especially if you have your void hunters like your chaos knight, who is putting so much poison on the floor that you really don't have anywhere to run around and focus on being. So we're going to focus on a little bit of an area of effect for our combustion, and then our flamethrower does have melting as well. The nice thing about the Pyromancer is he does have access to the beam skills, so he does have access to arcane beam, to light beam and the skills like that. I don't think exposed works very well on the Pyromancer. He doesn't have a lot of direct damage skills unless we land up taking thunderclap and thunderstrike or even lightning bolt, then you can worry about it, but otherwise don't necessarily worry about arcane beam so much. You do want to get yourself the light beam or magic missile for the brittle, though it is very strong. Alright, we managed to get our chaos golem, as you could see, at our first upgrade or our first skill choice. We are running weapon expert as well, so that does help us with the extra damage. Having melting as well is fantastic because it lowers the enemy's armor. Now being able to lower enemy's armor does make it fantastic. Having lasting is fantastic as well because that's going to increase the damage of buffs, as well as, I believe, skills that are lasting. Maybe we should go for things like poison cloud. They are doing quite a lot of poison every 0.5 seconds to enemies caught in it. Poison cloud isn't the greatest. I'll see if we can get maybe poison bomb, but otherwise we will look at grabbing ourselves the thunderstrike because of the dazed and just its huge DPS in the beginning. I mean, 1755 damage is a huge number on any skill as a base, so very strong skill to grab. As long as we do hit a lot of enemies with it, we should be in a relatively good spot. Alright, we are going to take the armor over here. It can come into clutch, and then cast frequency being very important over there. So here's poison bomb. We are going to grab one. We might land up changing it later on, but just so that we do have more of the tag for lasting, we will grab it. Maybe we can get some magical upgrade tags as well, just in case. But getting ourselves some extra poison, definitely helpful, especially if you don't want to re-roll any of your skills yet. Alright, switch, 100% gonna get it. Firewall, very strong skill, definitely picking it up, and we also going to be picking up one of the dooms. So here we've got multicast, we've also got ourselves a damage increase for lasting, and that's going to be fantastic. The only thing that these damage upgrades doesn't get us is more damage on our chaos golems, which is okay. Alright, we do have a necromancer over there who died very quickly. Very good going for us. Alrighty, so damage upgrade over there. We can go for cast frequency over there. We don't need to pick up any of the venomous upgrades unless we get rid of poison bomb, but the fact that poison bomb is there as a skill means that we will get some poison upgrades if necessary. Otherwise we are looking at getting a whole lot of other upgrades, hopefully going to be good enough for us to kill these bosses as quick as possible. Alright, probably one of the worst starts we could have got is getting ourselves the Fallen King as well as the Flame Giant. I really don't like the Fire Giant. his flamethrowers really do hurt and they deal a lot of damage. But having the Fallen King as our first boss is relatively good as well, because he doesn't spin on his first when you first summon him. So very, very strong. We are going to be changing Thunderstrike for Lightning Bolt, just because I believe Lightning Bolt is much stronger. We fire 3 of the projectiles, each doing 945. Each projectile can hit an enemy, so that's, if all 3 hit one enemy, that's 2700 damage. That is double the amount of damage, or nearly double the amount of damage of this. We don't need the stun. Even though the dazed is weaker, it does have a lower cooldown as well, and we immediately get even lower cooldown over there as well. I'm actually thinking now as well, do we want to take Firewall? Because we already have it. We might want to grab ourselves a Light Beam when we find it. Arcane Beam, again, like I mentioned, doesn't really work well, but Light Beam is also a lasting skill, so we will grab that instead of the Firewall, just because it is going to be really strong as well. So we're not going to lock our active skills. We are going to look at grabbing ourselves that Light Beam when we find it, if we ever find it. Oh man, we are getting some really good upgrades here as well. Very lucky. And again, we've got our Chaos Golems doing their job perfectly, keeping the bosses distracted. As you can see, the area of effect is getting ridiculous on our skills, and that's going to cause us some beautiful damage. Now you are going to have to be prestige level 10, like I mentioned in the beginning, because you are going to want to have Firewall as well as your second weapon for the Pyromancer. It's a little bit of a mess situation, but you can do one run on Curse 5 up to about like 2 minutes, you know, not even kill the first bosses. You can die to the first bosses or kill the first set of bosses and you'll already be prestige level 10. So very easy to get there, and then once you get there you are able to beat the bosses really easily. So I mean, you can already see we don't have to worry too much about the mobs. We just have to worry about the bosses and the damage that they do to us. So it's more about just dodging all of these red circles, but otherwise Firewall dealing huge amounts of damage to absolutely everything around us. And you can see our golems are tanking the other 2 bosses while we are able to focus on the other boss. So now we can just chill over here. You can see Firewall everywhere because of the multicast and its area of effect. We might even have to turn down the graphics a bit, and this is only Curse 5, and look at the ridiculousness of the build already. As long as you get certain things, the Pyromancer can be just as devastating as any of the other characters. Huge area of effect incoming. That is fantastic. You can go arcane power if you wanted, but we don't need to. We are very strong already. Oh man, we're gonna take the legendary as well, but we want the crit. Grab that. Multicast for area, which is fantastic, and more increased area of effect for our poison bomb. So getting yourself some really good tags on the characters is just really a good idea. Another character who has all of these lasting spells is the Houndmaster with all of the bombs. It's really fun to play with lasting. They do deal a lot of damage as well, and they just get you really far very quickly. Combustion was one of my favorite skills in the game. The only problem I have with it right now is when you do get too much area of effect and cast frequency on it, it does leave a visual indicator showing like the visual indicator for it breaks, and therefore you show like half your screen as a different color to the other half of your screen, and it really doesn't look very nice. So hopefully they can fix that, because that visual indicator really is rough sometimes. But otherwise we are in a fantastic spot. We even got 2 more golems as an upgrade. That is a massive legendary upgrade to get. It will be a lot easier to get upgrades like that on the Necromancer when you have Divine Legacy unlocked, because you are able to have you know, permanent, well, you know, the choice of legendary upgrades going further into runs. So once every 25 levels with Divine Legacy you get guaranteed legendaries, and then you're guaranteed, if you're playing like 6 golems, you're guaranteed to have the upgrades for them to get more golems, which is really strong. I think we do have to do a 6 golem build one day and take a look at the Divine Legacy and just how ridiculous it can be on some of the characters. So maybe on the new save we can do that. It would be really fun. We also do have a top 5 video coming out very soon. We are just waiting for the new update to be released, which will be released very soon. I cannot give a date because we do not know it, but I have a very good feeling about this, and you know, just I have a very good feeling that the update will be relatively soon. So things are looking good for all of us who love this game. Alright, we're not getting light beam. It doesn't look like we need it either, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Getting more multicast, some movement speed will be great. Crit damage, HP, the HP works on your golems as well, so don't worry too much about, you know, oh no, it's only for you. It works on your golems, which is fantastic as well. It's going to keep them alive even longer as well. And then I think we are going to have to turn down the graphics a little bit, especially if we do get hit more than we should, just because you can see there is so much going on the screen. It also makes the YouTube algorithm a lot, I mean not the algorithm, the YouTube codex go a bit funky, because it doesn't, it can't keep up with the bitrate of the video. It's just crazy how some things can do that and others can't. But anyway, it is what it is. We just ran into his abilities. So let's just turn it down for a bit. We do have it quite high. We'll turn it right down. You can still see the shadows of the skills. It does make it a lot easier. It is a lot smoother. Although having all of the enemy effects as well doesn't really help too much. We are actually going to focus on the Death Knight over here, while, you know, letting them focus on our golems. The reason for this is because of how much poison, I mean all these poison circles over here are from the Death Knight Void Hunter, so we do want to kill him as quickly as possible. We don't really want to have to fight over all of this poison. The other thing we can do is just move out of the way of it and keep dodging and everything like that. But it does look like he died. Both bosses are dead as well, and we're in a fantastic position. Me being silly like I am sometimes, just ran into where all the enemies were, and that's where all of our golems were, tanking them as well. So we just ran into a whole whack of abilities because we are silly. Don't do that, guys. It is very silly. You can die and it's completely unnecessary. You will survive, and you can pick up the crystals a lot later, and or if you don't land up picking them up, they get automatically picked up at the end of the run. But if you need the levels desperately, just wait for the enemies to die or run quite far away so that your chaos golems tether range changes, and then they follow you, and then you will have the time to go back and go pick up those crystals. So make sure you don't do what I did. That was very silly of me, again dodging into circles that are exploding. Very silly, but we have 3 dodges as well, and I'm not using them at our best capacity, and that's causing me a lot of grief as well. Alright, we do have a boss dead. I don't need the levels. These are the last bosses, so we can just focus on killing them. We're not worried about levels again, so let's just focus on this. Let's see, without taking damage, how quickly we can kill them. And it does look like today's one is going to be a lot faster than yesterday with the Barbarian. Okay, we did lose a life, not the end of the world. Again, we do have more lives because of our skill tree, which is a great upgrade to pick up. And now we've only got the flame incarnation, now the fire dude, and he's going to die very quickly. He is standing in our poison. He is get a lot of the stacks of doom as well, and he's going to die on his own. Even if we had to leave him now, he will die to our golems or just to doom and poison and burn. So we're okay to kind of just run away. There you go, he is dead. we completed a match in under 12 minutes on the Pyromancer, so we also unlocked one of his ruins. And that was that, a pretty easy, pretty effective skill. When you have your Pyromancer at a low level, it is actually easier because you don't have some of the skills. Like there we unlocked Meteor Shower. It isn't a great skill, and it actually helped us not having it because we were able to get a lot of the other skills a lot faster. Poison Bomb doing a lot of damage, surprising amount of damage there. Firewall we knew would do a lot, and our Chaos Golem carrying us once again, and we even had 5 of them up this time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.